And I can clip
I
the
love
beginning.
it.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will
I'll start
say
the party and tell y'all what I've been up to.
How have you been?
yes.
So, y'all know, you guys know, but the
Yeah.
audience don't know. I completely wrecked my nervous system. Like trying to homeschool, trying to do my job 40 plus, 50 plus hours. So my nervous system completely shot, as most moms can relate to, but to a real severe degree where like I couldn't drive, couldn't work more than 5 to 10 hours. Like my body was unavailable to do life because of how much I abused it.
Mm.
I learned that like I I no longer had hunger signals.
Mm.
So I would skip meals, entire days of not eating, not to be skinny, but literally I didn't have hunger signals because my nervous system was shut down, all of it. So I've had to learn all the things to heal because I think there's a time and place for medication, but I will exhaust every option until I do that. So
Yeah.
I found like I have to talk about because I didn't know I've always been aware of like the power of plants, I think the healing properties of plants, but I've found supplements that are organ based, like cow organs, like these
Beef
literal
liver?
organs that they just make into powder.
Oh
Yes.
wow.
And it has
Wait,
done things that I didn't understand. So I initially when everything went down, I had to go to the ER. The ER doctor actually was like, "Oh, okay, you have issues with blood pressure. I can tell." Medicated, wrote a prescription for the wrong blood pressure. So I have low blood pressure, and he just, for whatever reason, assumed I had high blood pressure, gave me high blood pressure medication
Oh my
or
God.
blood pressure. He thought it was high, so he gave me medication to lower it. So if I didn't hesitate and not take it, it would have gotten my blood pressure so low, God only knows what would have happened.
yeah.
So good thing we do our own research. We
Oh,
don't just take
Glaucoma.
pills.
Yeah.
So anyway, from there I did like about a month or two of literal struggle of like it was the weirdest thing because I had to learn how to physically um get my blood pressure up. So when it would start to drop, I would have to like figure out, okay, I need to eat protein. I need to walk a lot until the blood pressure went up. It was a constant of like my naturopath kind of explained it as like your instead of your system doing it on its own, you have to like instead of it being automatic, you physically have to have your blood pumping. You have to do it yourself because your system isn't doing it correctly. So anyway, 2 months of literal like having to manually have my blood pump because I didn't want to be on medication.
oh my
And
God.
I found these organ supplements because I refused. I was like, I'm not it's really difficult to get off blood pressure medication.
Mm.
You can't do it on your own. You have to have doctors wean you off or tell you it's okay. And like so many people want to get off. Like I found this a lot on forums. They're like, I want to get off of it. I want to heal myself. And the doctor's like, no, you can't. And if you don't have it done correctly, it could really harm you. So anyway, Google, found these supplements. They're literally freeze-dried organs. And I'm like, never
What
heard of
is
them in my life. But I was like, we
what is
gotta try
the
things. We're trying
brand?
all the things. And I started taking freeze-dried liver, 6 pills a day, blood pressure completely regulated.
Whoa.
Like it
Wait, what is the
replenishes
brand
your
called?
blood,
Hear me?
like white blood cells, red blood cells, it replenishes everything and it regulated my blood pressure. Like what? With freeze-dried organs. I was like
That's
tripping.
wild. Okay, wait. What is this? What is the
I was
Oh,
brand?
gonna
the
say
supplement.
the brand.
Well, I have it right
Yeah,
here
what is
actually
the
because I
brand?
just took them. Hold on.
Because my
And
friend
is
also
there a discount code? Now.
no,
Right?
there's
I'm like, what? I swear to God, now that I'm like my head is above water, I'm like, y'all need to sponsor me because I will
yeah.
talk about you all day, every day. So this
Yes.
one is, do you use that?
No, but my friend recommended this same exact brand. Yes,
Girl,
yes, yes.
how does literal? Okay, so let me read it.
Yes, like
It's
2 days ago, she
whole
recommended this
blood
brand.
extract, grass fed. They literally is like liver pills,
That's
spleen
so
and
wild.
liver, freeze dried.
Whoa.
Unreal. Like I have chills right now because this saved me from a lifetime of, being on blood pressure medication.
Yeah.
And I'm
And
like,
the wrong blood pressure
and
medication.
the wrong one who essentially would have taken me out. So this
Oh
one,
my gosh.
and then okay, so that's I've been struggling about 5 months. You guys know how much I've been struggling. Like literally,
Yeah.
like can't work, hard to drive, just hard to function in life. Really, really, really struggling. The second piece of the pie for me, now that I'm like literally not having like these episodes where I'm like, having pain on my left side where I had Bell's palsy, like all the things that my nervous system kind of has always kind of been re-triggered, even though like my blood pressure got under control because that was like the worst part. But I still was struggling to do all these things because my nervous system was like basically
God.
it was being triggered. Anytime I tried to work, it was like you're doing that thing that you did to excess. Like I don't want to be a part of it. It would like trigger and I would feel terrible. So the second part was like, okay, I was like, I have to learn all these things about the adrenals. The adrenals, mine are fatigued, right? They have to be like my cortisol is through the roof, like it's just not doing what it's supposed to be doing correctly. So I learned that, your adrenals affect your salt. And so I was like, one of my therapist was like, "Hey, like try some electrolytes. That really helps with blood pressure." I didn't know that like the adrenals affect your salt and like the balance of the salt. So sometimes I would take electrolytes and I'm like, "Oh, I feel better," for whatever reason, because it's affecting all these things. That affects my sugar, the salt, all these things. So the second piece of like my nervous system being shot, I got the blood pressure in control. The second piece, so that was the first 2 months that I really struggled. Finally got that cool. Now struggle for 3 more months because my nervous system is still, shot. I'm gonna keep it short, but there's another supplement. I should have left it up here. um, because my adrenals were shot. This is like the most interesting thing I've come across trying to heal naturally. So this is a different brand, but same idea, freeze-dried, you know, freeze-dried thing. So they they basically a lot of what they do is like they say, and I didn't know this, but like kind of like I don't know whether it's indigenous or just kind of primal back in the day, they would heal different parts of your body. They would give you the animal's part that you're trying to heal. If they're trying to
Mhm.
heal the heart, they give you the heart. If you're trying to, I'm trying to heal my adrenals, these are freeze-dried
Wow.
adrenals from a cow,
Wow.
literally. And I've,
That's a trip.
started taking these a couple weeks ago, and my nervous system, I can drive now. All these things that like I'm starting to be able to work again. Like my nervous system
Wow.
was just shot, and this has gotten like the healing has been unreal. And I'm just like, whoa, like I finally cracked the code. So
Yeah.
Wow.
that's
Wow.
a really brief like synopsis of my life for the past 5 months, but like
That's a huge, huge win.
mm,
I'm so proud of you, first and
it
Yeah.
foremost, for like
it's
doing
been
doing
it's
that.
all these parts, but
Wow.
like, and I'm not saying healing naturally is not for the weak people. It's
No.
Mm-mm.
not. You have to
No.
be real, like, in conviction as to why you want to do it. But I think it's possible and it's worth it.
Yeah,
So I want to encourage people that are like feeling that urge to do it that way, to not feel discouraged because in the long run, your health will thank you for it. It wasn't just like I read on a lot of forums, people are like, I have Bell's palsy, my adrenals are shot, and they're like, I'm back to work. And I'm like, I have to unlearn things because if I don't, it won't be sustainable.
right.
I literally had to learn how to feed myself when I wasn't hungry. I had, like nutritious things. I had to relearn. I had to start going to therapy, which started giving me like, you know, breath work. And like when my
Mm,
nervous system would lose it, when I'm like, dude, I feel terrible, I would start doing breathing, breath work, and it
Wow.
literally took my nervous system down a notch and I could handle it. But people don't
mm,
have these techniques. They don't know. They just think
yeah,
like, oh, my body's out of control. So I'm gonna be talking about that for a long time. And I think I'll now that I feel like somewhat in control and healthy,
That's your
I can talk
story.
about these things in social media and just say
Yeah.
yeah.
like the only one because we're all overstimulated, overworked moms. Like that's
Mm, mm,
just what America produces, unfortunately.
mm.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm so happy that you
So I'm like
found
so
somebody.
stoked to start like talking about these things Because
Dude,
Yeah.
there's so many women that are just,
yeah,
I'm poor.
yeah. And people don't have the natural remedy for it. They result
They have
to
no idea. They're just
yeah,
like, the person in the coat said, and I'm like, cool.
That part. Oh my God.
You
the
know
root.
better
Yeah, what
than
is the
anyone
root?
else. I need
Mm,
people to know you know better than anybody. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah,
Because a lot of
Oh,
people, the
oh,
person
good.
in the white coat said, that's like,
like it
that's so
just gave me chills
powerful.
again with the
Yeah.
whole like how much healthcare right now because of what someone did, which was not right to do to harm someone, but like how much attention that's brought, and people are literally just everybody has someone they know that has been wronged by our, Western medication or lack thereof getting treatment or whatever the case. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I am
And
super passionate about it.
it's it's so cool because the white coat, and it's nothing against that. It's just what they've been taught. But like they're just treating the symptom. They're not getting to the root.
That's what I
Yeah.
told my husband. I go,
Yeah.
Matt, because initially I was like, man, if I could just get into a doctor, whatever. I waited months to get into a functional medicine doctor because I was like, I need blood work. I need to know what's off. I need someone who's going to get to the root. I don't need medication. There is no point for me to go here and get, these medications because I'm like, we're not gonna heal this. We're not. We're
Right.
just gonna throw some
You're
pills
just
on it and
patching.
call it a day. And
Yep.
I'm like, I'd rather wait a few months and talk to someone who's like, okay, they did like thousands of dollars worth of blood work for me. They started sending me to IV, different vitamins in IV weekly, right? Replenishing the system, replenishing the system. I started seeing a therapist who is all about breath work, physically tapping at your body where it's pain, like all these things that I'm like, these were all pieces of the puzzle, every
Yeah.
single one. But
Yeah.
I don't think people understand how complex the puzzle is. It's not the
Yeah.
pill. It's all these things you got to figure out. What is it that, even sitting in the sunlight, the fact that I wasn't going outside and sitting in sunlight, I would sit in sunlight for 30, 45 minutes and I'm like, I feel alive.
Mm-hmm.
Put your feet in the grass. Like
Mm-hmm.
it is wild what it does for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Genuinely.
That's huge because when I was just like fresh postpartum, I ripped and so I had like stitches in three
Mhm.
places. And so I was like pretty much bedridden. I could barely walk to the bathroom.
Yep.
And so I was indoors for like 2 weeks straight. I had
Hmm.
never done that before. 2 weeks I was indoors and in Oregon.
Yeah.
So it was hard. It was so mentally draining. And the first time that I got to go outside and feel the sun,
Yep.
it did. It like turned me around like
Isn't it wild?
100%. It's such
Power
a
of the sun.
trip.
Like,
The power of the
So,
sun and the power of like fresh air.
yeah.
It was
Nature.
just like
Holy
I
cow,
felt like
dude.
a new person.
Yeah,
It was
literally.
such a trip.
Uh-huh. Yep.
yeah.
I Part of my quote unquote unofficial treatment was spending time in the sun. I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, I didn't know. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm deficient. I'm like,
Doctor number one, Mr.
mm-hmm.
Sun.
No, for real. And you know what's crazy too? I don't know if you can hear me. My thing keeps popping out. But like, you work at home and the luxury of working at home is being able to be home. But when you have a schedule like yours and like your situation, you're forced to be in home. It's almost equivalent to being under fluorescent lights
Right.
and you don't get to spend time outside unless it's for your lunch break. Like
Yep.
that's what's so crazy to me is like people look at the work from home and they're like, yes, I'm working from home, but it's no different than you working in a cubicle because you're still trapped under the fluorescent lights. You're not able to go outside. And it's
Yeah.
like, that's
Yeah.
causing more
I think
sickness.
people see it as it's a small step toward freedom, but it's not what people make it out to be.
No.
Right, right.
Because I
It is
definitely
definitely a step in the right direction because you get to be
Definitely, I
home.
pushed that for years because people,
Yeah.
the work that I do, was never online. So when I would tell my friends I'm going to do this online, they would laugh at me. They're like, "We don't do this online." I'm like, "Anyway," but I like manifested a position, but still I'm like still in these, you know what I mean? Like I'm still not in control.
Yeah.
Gives you some kind of feeling like it's a little bit, but not, it's not the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Being in complete control of your time is something else.
Yeah.
And I think that's
I'm
what
just
we're
gonna
all
step
working
away
toward.
real quick because
Yep.
my baby just woke up.
Yes, of course.
You're Yeah, but also being able to schedule, hi baby, time in for she says, hey.
Hi, Lois. You want to hang out with us? She's like, what's going on?
Hey,
She was literally crawling towards the door, so I
she
figured.
was
She's like, what are y'all doing?
right
She
here.
would
Let
hang
her
out with
nose,
us.
baby.
All right, Francis. What
Yeah.
is your update?
Oh my goodness. So I think I told you how I got into doTERRA
Yes,
and just the healing power of oils alone.
dude,
And
plants.
mhm.
I knew about plants. I didn't know about the organs, but I was like, wow, like plants is all, it's, yeah. I love
Yeah. And I've been
how
learning
powerful the oils
so,
are.
yeah, so much about the power of, yeah, nature, which is so
Yeah.
crazy. Um, and then I was, you know how we're already in the markets on Saturdays, our local farmer
Yes.
market. So we decided, how about we get into like a product that we could sell? Because
Right.
we were just doing for the longest time like Kangen and just educating the community, which was amazing. But I wanted to do something that would like bring in some income right then.
Yeah.
And Saturdays we're there. We're spending our
Yeah.
time there.
Might
Why
as
not have,
well.
yeah, why not
Right.
have a product to sell? And so it came to me at like a late o'clock night. Um, my local farm has like grass-fed beef, and I had just gone there. No, I hadn't gone there. I heard about them through a friend, actually the same friend that told me about the beef liver pills and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
Uh-oh. We froze. Can you hear us? I think you froze. Maybe the signal's a little weak.
Yep. That Wi-Fi in the woods.
Yeah. We try to be in nature, and nature's like, oh, the Wi-Fi doesn't reach out here.
did I freeze?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I think the
Okay,
Wi-Fi is like trying to reach you but couldn't quite.
yep, we're getting back inside then. Um, where did I leave off? Where was I?
You're at the farmer's market,
Oh,
and then you
okay.
wanted to sell a product alongside Kangen.
So I was like, why don't I just start doing tallow? Like, let's make tallow face products. And I called the farm that day and was like, "Hey, Garrett, what are you doing?" Okay, he just keeps following me with baby and I'm like, "All right, hold on." It's like back and forth. Um, but I was like, let's make something to sell. So I started making tallow and we started infusing it with the oils. And so now we have a little company, a little business called Tallow and Things.
Cool.
And it's just like tallow and then oils. And we have a newsletter that goes out every Friday that educates
Oh.
about the benefits of tallow, using it on your skin, using it internally, and then also the benefit of the oil that we're choosing to go in it. So our first oil infused tallow was frankincense. And frankincense oil, like I've been using it on my face for the last, we've been doing this for like 2 weeks now, 3 weeks. How long? 3 weeks?
3 weeks.
So I've been using it on my skin for probably the last 2 weeks. And it has like transformed my skin. I like it's wild. We've replaced butter with tallow. We've been cooking with our tallow and it's
Hmm.
all grass fed and like it's healthy fats. It's so good for you. Like the land of tallow is so interesting and there's so many different benefits of using that. But that's so my main thing is like I love makeup. I love skincare products, but I always since getting into my healthcare journey, like realizing how many chemicals are in the healthcare, like, or the skincare products and things like
Yeah.
that, I was like, this is a big reason why I want to start doing this. And so now we have endless amounts of tallow. We have beef, like, of local farm that we source from. And then on the back end, we're providing people with aroma touch therapies, which are basically a massage with essential oils, and it heals the nervous system. There's so many
Yes.
different like oils that you can apply to the spine, and because they cross the blood-brain barrier, they can heal in so many different ways. So we're working with people and getting them in, and then obviously like yeah, healing and
Yeah.
making a living. And Kangen is still very forefront for me because that's something I'm really passionate about. And so Garrett's kind of taken over that booth at the tent, and we've been just naturally getting leads off of our like people who are coming for aroma touch therapies who are interested in the water. And it's just been a whole, it's
Oh
been,
my
It
God,
like
I love that.
hand in hand. Yeah.
yeah,
You're
People that
like,
are interested in one are going to be interested in both for sure.
yeah,
yes. It's
mhm,
like healing from the inside out, from like,
Yeah.
topically, and you're
yeah.
kind of covering all bases. I love that.
Yeah. It's been so fun, and then also getting mentorship, like it was so big. I needed the mentorship and the guidance because I just was like lost there for a little bit, and I'm still getting back into it. But this girl wants to say hi. It's like, hi.
Ah,
Hi.
I see you.
Hello. But yeah, I'm still getting back into it and then like getting caught up. Like social media is my next thing to tackle because I went MIA and now I'm like, okay, I can do this. Like I have room. But it's also been so busy, like the schedule with aroma touch therapies, with meetings. Like I just did my first workshop the other night and
How
it was
was it?
essential oil workshop. And then we did stocking stuffers. So we made sugar scrubs. We had my tallow, and people were infusing it with their own oils that they wanted. Obviously, we
Fun.
educated them on which one is like good for skin and what the benefits were of that certain oil. And then we had like holiday room sprays and things like that. And it was so good. I felt good being able to do it hands on, and it felt good having like my schedule packed. Like I'm actually downloading Google Calendar, Harper,
Yeah.
and scheduling things in my Google Calendar where before I was like, what am I doing today? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
So
How
it's big.
cool.
Such a
Yeah.
shift. I love that.
Yeah. So yeah, DeShera, what
I
about you?
love your direction. Yeah. It sounds
Yeah.
like you have a lot of direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and like you said, like the mentorship, it is that like once you get the right mentorship, and then you can kind of like you start to be able to guide yourself too, because
Mhm.
you're like, instead of waking up and being like, what am I doing today?
Uh-huh.
You're like, okay, I have this and this planned, and it just is,
Yeah.
yeah, it gives you structure and a path.
It
Yeah.
feels real because with like the entrepreneurship world, you can get lost in the fact that you're doing it yourself. And then
Mhm.
when you're doing it yourself, it's like it really is up to you to plan your schedule. Like you have to pack your schedule with things. And
Yep.
if you don't, then you're doing nothing essentially, but not in the it's like, yeah, it's a whole different level of work. And we also just got into another market. For DeLand, and we're going to be doing tallow and things there. And that's like a later market. And it's just like things have been really moving. Like it's like,
Aw.
okay, wow,
I'm
I
excited.
feel like I
That's so
have
cool.
work that I can say I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, too, just on that note, because both of you guys are dropping some amazing products, we're gonna need to put this in like the show
Yes.
notes
Right?
or
Yeah, in the
whatever.
notes.
Yeah, so we can have like links to it. And yeah,
Yes.
that's cool.
Yeah.
That's really exciting. Um, I guess it's my turn.
Yeah.
Yes. Give us
Yeah.
the goods.
um, I've just been, oh man, just working on my business. I've been scheduling calls and talking to, a lot of different, most women who who I was telling Francis this earlier was like a lot of new moms who are like close to giving birth or have just gotten or gave birth, and they're like looking to start their businesses and stuff like that. So that's been really exciting. I've been seeing a lot of momentum in that way. And again, with the mentorship, like before I was able to, always generate leads, but like I didn't really know what to do with them or like how to move them through a process.
Yeah.
And they would just kind of like fall off and get lost in the sauce. And I kind of always, in a way, like held that guilt of like, I wasn't the person to be able to support them and like help them with their goal. They came to me for a reason. And then I kind of like, didn't guide them. And now I'm able to guide them and it feels really good. But also just life, lifing over here. He is 7 months now, and
they're growing so fast. I'm like, I swear you guys just gave birth. Like, what do you
kid? I just weighed him. He's like, what?
He's like, what?
I just weighed him, like, and he's almost like 30 pounds.
Wow.
30 pounds, and he's 7 months. People think he's like a year old.
He said, I'm strong.
Last time I weighed her, she was 14 pounds. This girl.
Oh my God.
I know. And she's like, I don't know if I told you, she's popping a tooth like on her front. I can feel it. And so all this here, that's been, oh my gosh, that's been another thing. Dude, going back to what you said, Neddy, being holistic and taking the health journey is not for the weak, because it's a lot more than just here's a band-aid, like,
dude, the band-aid is tempting. The
Mhm.
band-aid is tempting when you
because it's instant gratification.
Drive, when you are not functioning, it is not easy to be like, let me just slap that on real quick so I can get on with my life.
Yeah. It is instant gratification, like you said, DeShera.
Yep.
Like you get the immediate relief, but what you're doing also is numbing your body and not teaching your body properly how to deal with it from the source. You're
It's
just
so true. Like the blood pressure, you can't. If you medicate with blood, for example, blood pressure, your body does not know how to do it on its own for a long time after that.
Yeah.
Same thing with anything. I don't know, Francis, to what you were gonna say, but like it will not know how to function the way it was meant to. It's crazy.
So, for instance, like with her skin, we've been really struggling with her sensitive skin. And I just got a blood analysis a few weeks ago, and it's by my same mentors. He does blood analysis where he takes you, like, he pricks your finger and he views it under a microscope. And then there's this chart that he goes off of. He's worked with Tony Robbins and done like blood analysis for him for years. And he basically just views in your blood your active blood and then your clotted blood. So with your clotted blood, you can see generations of trauma and things that you've been struggling with, or maybe your family has been struggling with, and then your future, your live blood, you can see what's currently going on. And with her, I was a sugar junkie and a carb junkie, and you could see it in my blood. Like being able to see it in my blood was like an eye opener, because it creates yeast in your blood. So if you eat lots of sugar and lots of carbs and then dairy even, you get like fungus in your blood. And that comes up, she's replicating me. Like if we were to take her blood, it would look the same as mine because that's all she eats. And he was just telling me about it, and he's like, do you eat a lot of sugar and carbs? And I was like, well, I can't lie. Yeah, I do. And he's like, well, this is what's going on. Like you have yeast pockets in your blood and your white blood cells are trying to take them away. But because there's excess, like it's hard for them to bring those out. It was very interesting.
Wow.
So
just from a finger prick, like what? You usually have to get like
That's incredible.
blood panel of work.
Yeah. And
that's really cool.
it was just very eye-opening, like, because he was like, when you do go to a blood panel person, like they mix your blood with a bunch of other solutions you view it and look at it. He's like, I'm just taking your blood straight from, and then I'm analyzing it. And it was so
Really
interesting. And from
cool.
then on, I've been incorporating more greens into my diet. It's 80% greens, and then about this much, like your palm size hand protein. And then if you want to do a carb, do carbs like this much, like the size of
Mhm.
your palm.
Yep.
And healthy carbs, not like bad carbs. And he's like, if you get more chlorophyll into your diet, you're going to notice a really big difference in your energy, with your frequency, like the
Mm,
way that I've been dabbling into your frequency and where your vibrational frequency is at, and what you're putting in and what you're perceiving and like projecting. Guys, like it's been a
That's so
crazy,
cool.
it's been so crazy, and it all correlates to what you're putting into your body, and then how you think, and all of that. And it's just like, yeah,
So
yeah,
connected to everything.
that's
Like,
so cool. I love that.
I
yeah.
love it
And,
too.
and like you said, like getting, like, it's so crazy because we don't, obviously, can't see the inside of our body. And like to see our blood, like actually see it there, it's like, I mean, when we get a scan, like when we get an x-ray or like a brain scan, like it's so incredible that we are able to see that. And then you're like, oh man, that's really what's going on the inside. And then
Yeah.
yeah, you can take the steps to start to heal that. And now it's like, because you've seen it, now you're like, oh, now it's game time. Like now I can
Gotta
have a
get my
direction
It
shit
and
brings a
together.
lot of awareness for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like another level of
absolutely.
awareness.
Like I
Absolutely.
was like, oh, I have to get my shit together. Like this is not something that I can play around with anymore, especially when it comes to her skin. Like
Mm-hmm.
I can't play around with just like eating whatever I want. Like it shows in her. And um and yeah, it's been like a fun journey, because it's really mind, body, and
I'm gonna
soul.
open a window. I'll be right.
You're okay. But it's like it's very much mind, body, and soul with what
Yeah.
I've been working with recently. And also like my walk and my faith, like I've been going to church more. Like it's just all been like correlating, and things have just like slowly been aligning. Like, and not everything is perfect. I'm not saying everything in my life is perfect. Like we just had to get rid of our truck because we're like, you know what? We're staying here for a little while. Like it looks like we're going to be here for a long time. And
Yeah.
that truck isn't something that we can afford right this second, like just to be real. And so
Yeah.
we still are going through things, but the way that God, like I truly believe God is just lining it up. It's like there's answers, and it's not just what, like the unknown. It's not going into the unknown blindfolded and with no protection. um and so
I love
seeing all that confirmation has been like really crazy. But yeah.
Yeah. No, it's I love that you brought that up because that's where I've been too, is just really continuously like reminding myself to lean in to like following those intuitive nudges, following like what God is telling me to act on, because like we can get these intuitive nudges all the time. And I think like it's crazy that you just brought it up because I just bought this. Oh, you can't
Oh
see it.
no, it's blurred out. Can you read it to us?
Wait, let me turn. Can I turn this off? How do I turn? I don't even know how to do that at this very moment. But
I
anyways, it's a book and it says 100 Days of Believing Bigger. It's
mm,
a devotional journal. Nope, still can't.
uh
I know, I was trying to figure
looks
out where it
cute.
was for you, and I
Yeah,
don't even know.
Yeah,
I think
mm, background. Here we go. Boom, none.
there it is.
We figured it out. There it is.
Oh, that's so cute.
Oh,
I
cool.
love it. I freaking love it. So, how do I now? Now I can't get out of this.
It's still stuck.
There we go. Did I do it? Oh my God. Here we go.
Yes.
Yeah. So this, I literally bought it on Amazon.
Nice.
But it's just kind of like um 100-day like challenge almost of like prompts, journal prompts. But
Introspection.
yes, and it's like it gives like a verse, a Bible verse, and then it kind of elaborates on that. And then it gives you an area where you can write down and reflect. And so today, the topic was perfect timing.
I
And
love that.
I'm
Oh,
gonna read it because like
It's perfect
it's just
timing.
crazy. It's so crazy. Okay, so the verse is trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him and he will make your path straight. So the elaboration, which this really like hit, it says when it comes to trust, remember we're talking about what trust means is total reliance upon spiritual timing. So I love that because I've never heard of that. And I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. Anyways, it says not just partial trust in the areas where we feel the odds are in our favor. We must become intentional when it comes to no longer trusting the wrong things like yourself, your experience, your intellect. You may be good, but God is great. God's got a higher, wider, and more eternal view. This is a special time to trust God with your whole heart, especially the parts you've been holding back out of fear of fully letting go. Disbelief disrupts our destiny. And that line right there, I underlined it because I was like, wow, like disbelief disrupts our destiny. And
oh,
says,
we could do a whole episode on that. What?
yeah,
For real, that was so
it
good. I
says,
want to get
we block we block miracles when we give God just a small piece versus all of us.
Oh
It
my
can seem
God.
scary, and that's okay. God isn't afraid of or turned off by our emotions or feelings. Instead, he wants you to bring your cares and worries to him. Even in the midst of frustration, know that every detour and delay has been divinely orchestrated. Remember, God knows the ideal timing for you to arrive at your destination.
that
And
part. That part. Remember,
Good Lord.
what?
right?
But
Like,
that whole thing could be dissected because
yes.
so many pieces. For me, I think we should all hit on whatever spoke to us the most loud, but for me, it was whatever you think you're capable of, whatever level you think you're at. I'm getting chills. Like, what? No, I'm so glad you read this. It's
Yeah.
irrelevant. It
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
matter. His plan for
Yeah.
you is whatever he wants it to be, whatever level he decides you're going to be, regardless of what level you think you're at. Ooh, the chills.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, because I've mentioned this before, and I feel like I have to say it again because it's our fleshly desires versus our spiritual desires. Like, it's as simple as not wanting to wake up at a certain time when your alarm clock goes off because you want to sleep in. Like, you know? And it's so similar applied to so many different things. Like, your flesh is going to your flesh is going to trick you and say go in this direction, but God's like, no, trust me,
Mhm.
go in this direction. I know
Yeah.
what's for you. I know your plan. I know my plan for you.
The
Like,
timing
yes.
where
Yeah.
you're feeling it's not going to happen. It hasn't happened. Da, da, da,
Or why
da.
haven't I gotten this yet? Yeah.
Mhm.
Irrelevant.
Mm.
Yeah. And that's where, like, for me, I've been really in that realm of like, we've all been there. Like, why isn't it happening yet? And now that everything is like slowly aligning, it's like you can always look back at your life and see, like, okay, now I can see like why that happened the way that it did. And it's not because I'm like, oh, that was great the way that worked out. It
Yeah.
was like I see where I needed to work, what area I needed to work on, and that's what God did. That's the lesson that I needed. And there's so many moments in my life and like in the past, couple years, even the last year, where I'm like, I wanted, you know, to posture myself. I wanted to have more confidence, more courage. And it's not like it's just going to magically appear without you, one, doing the work, but two, also, it's like it just doesn't just happen overnight. It's like you are given opportunities to show up that way. And it's up to you to do it or don't. And that, it's just a continuous lesson. Like for me, now I'm like, I always have these instances where like my intuition is very strong. And I always believe that my intuition is like, you know, God's voice talking to me. And so for those that like are not, don't really believe in God, you can say it's like, yeah, your ego versus intuition. It's all the same thing. It's all spiritual energy language.
You can call it different things, but the same feeling.
It's all the same feeling, right? And for me, I've had these instances of where it's like I had this intuitive nudge to do something, to say something, to go somewhere. And those moments where I chose not to listen, not to honor it, and not to act, then it comes to be like either I watch somebody else do it and they like blow up or they have the quote unquote success. And I'm like, damn, they stole my idea. That was my idea. But it's like, you didn't act on it.
I can't help you if you don't help you.
Exactly. Right. You didn't act on it, so somebody else did, and they got the blessing. And so it's like those moments, it just reinforces like, just fucking do it. Excuse me, but just
do the damn thing.
Just listen and move.
If we could just 2025, do the damn thing.
Yes, move your feet.
Just
when you get
do it wrong.
Nudge,
do it awkward. Do it. Just
do it cringy. Yeah.
Do it cringy AF.
Yeah.
I think
and that's where I'm like, where I'm at is like,
that's what I'm trying to like literally going to Japan to our conference, being like, I want this more than anything. God, source, universe saying, we're going to put a pin on that. We're going to take you to the bottom, to the lowest you've ever been. You sure you still want it? You sure? Someone knock you on your ass. You know what I mean? So like, man, it's the perspective shift. It was probably necessary. Before it was nervous. It was, I don't know what people are going to think. Now it's, you have the health to do it. You know how many people wake up praying for your health, praying for the health that you have? Like, it's almost I've always had health. I'm like, it just is, but it's like so easy to take for granted.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, I don't have time to worry about who thinks I'm cringy. I have people to help with this fucking water. Like, I have people to, hey, literally, beef organs. No need for prescription medication. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like it matters too much to give a shit anymore.
Speaking of what you're saying, Neddy, gratitude comes in so much within that, because when you're not grateful, and just speaking on my situation, like I've just recently implemented, if someone is on this call watching this and you're like, okay, where do I start? Start with gratitude. And that's I recommend starting, and start by journaling, start by saying it out loud. Even if it feels wrong, start by acknowledging what you have and what you can be grateful for in the moment, because somebody else doesn't have that. Like, they don't have the way to move the way you do currently. And what I've been doing recently is writing, like, in my journal, I am so grateful for my multiple streams of income and my beautiful, happy, and peaceful mind and home. And I edit it every day, but I write it in the morning, I write it in the middle of the day, and I write it at night, and I write it 3 times each time, so that way it's a total of 9. There's something someone told me in the power of 3s, like it's just very powerful. And
the power of 3s. I've been seeing 333 angel numbers like it's my job. Whoa, this call is out of control, you guys.
I'm so
with the synchronicities is out of control.
Wild.
Like, starting with something that you're grateful for is like the biggest thing, because that's why I wasn't moving. Like God was like, okay, Francis, you are not grateful for what you have right now. You have a full-on MacBook computer, an iPhone 15, and you're wanting like, you know, a homestead land. Like, okay, cool, you can have that goal, but you have something right now that you're not being grateful for. And that's just an example. And it's like, oh, gratitude, man. Like being grateful for where you're at, even if it means that you have to, like, you know, you could be losing your home, but you have to be grateful for the breath that you woke up with that day. You know, like at least you woke up. Some people didn't, you know, last night. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, it is. And that is like gratitude is everything. And like even the hard days that we have, as fortunate as we are, we can get caught up so easily with like, this is hard. Like, okay, he's, he was sick for a while, teething, like waking up multiple times in the night. Like he will not sleep longer than 2 hours without me. That's hard.
Yeah.
But the thing is that I can be here for that. That is a blessing that I didn't have before.
Yes. All the moms that wish they could be
Yeah.
not dropping their kid off at daycare, you know?
For real.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally.
Moment of silence for that.
I know.
No, really. Dropping my kid off at daycare was what my nightmares were made out of. That's
Yes.
why I made it work.
That
However, I
part.
had to make it work because it was the stuff of my nightmares.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
But
I don't know you, but here's my 3-week-old or however
I had
other people
nightmares.
go back to
Right?
work at.
Oh my
I had
God.
nightmares being in daycare. Like, I don't want my kid to have to suffer through that. I remember things that are traumatic from daycare. I'm like, no,
Same.
I'm not putting my child
There's
there.
literally psychologists who will break it down and say, like, this detachment has effects. Like, as
Yeah.
much as society wants to normalize handing your kid over and not seeing them for 8 hours, like,
Yeah.
it has a lot of side effects on
Right. And it's like it takes a village. Yes, it absolutely does, but we should be the center of that village always.
the need
And
that
I
children have
like,
for their mother.
yeah.
I don't think people really understand what it
Yeah.
does. I
Yeah.
really
And I want to
that's a
go.
whole conversation we could have, honestly.
Yeah. No,
Honestly.
and it really is. And I do want to have that conversation.
Yeah, I do. I'm like, put an
We could
asterisk
go
on that one
deep.
because
We could go deep with that. But I do want to real quick go back to what you said, Neddy, about kind of like taking action. And you said like there's people out there that I can help now that you have your health, that you can now go and help other people with theirs, like these supplements, the water, like all of this stuff, like you, Francis, with your aromatherapy and the tallow, like you can help other people, and the water, like all of that. But I will say, like, it sparked something because our fears, when we let our fears get a hold of us, and we let our fears be that mud that our feet get stuck in, and
paralyzing.
we don't move forward.
Paralyzing.
You are by you stopping yourself, you're actually potentially blocking another blessing for somebody else that really needs it.
Yes.
And that's where like something that, and I've literally in my conversations with other people, like by me holding out because I was nervous to ask the question, I was nervous to reach out, or I was nervous to say the wrong thing, I am blocking their blessing by prolonging this process. And now that I'm just like, it's the fear of rejection, to be honest. And once you get past that and you're just like, you know what, I'm just going to do it, shoot my shot. And it's not about you, it's about them. It's about how you can serve them and get them out of whatever situation that they are in, because you were there and you got yourself out. Even if it's a step or two ahead, you did it, and they need that. And so, just being of that service of like, pretty much this is life or death for some people.
I've
Yeah.
heard the service part, operate from service, but I don't think I understood it until now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
bigger than
also,
you. It's not about you. You know, like I always heard that
Right.
and I'm like, really? But it really has switched for me to
well,
Yeah.
that being said, like, and I don't mean to just keep going back to God, but like, it's so true. God has called you to be a certain person, and we all don't have the same skills for the same for a reason. Like if we all had the same exact skills and we all helped the people in the same way, we wouldn't have a world where problems needed to be fixed. Like
the
God called
people
you,
the people that need Francis aren't my people. The people that
right?
need to hear aren't my people. They're not. We can talk about
Right.
the same stuff all day long. People are
Yeah.
going to find us for different reasons.
Yeah. But at
And
the
like,
same time, it's like we all have these little like synchronicities, those crossroads where we're all completely different people. We come from different backgrounds, but at the end of the day, the core dream or like vision is freedom. We all have that freedom, connection, and that's what people are looking for. And
and
so we,
purpose. Yeah.
by being the people that we are and living in our truth, we are also like giving them a voice too. It's like showing you, like, here's your permission slip to be who you are and show up as yourself, whether
Yeah.
that's messy, whether that's, whatever it looks like. And we can start to do it together
I think
and
so.
achieve that like freedom and true connection. And
It's
yeah.
purpose. It's
I think
your
personally,
purpose.
I think everyone's like me. Like, I think we all maybe are a little bit egotistical in that, like, oh, everyone thinks this way, or like everybody's already talking about freedom. And it's really no, we're a little bit of the oddballs. The truth is, most of our country or whatever is operating in the hamster wheel. It's operating in what we were told to do. Like many of like we've all lived that part where we just did the thing. But
And
yeah,
our freedoms are the
I
weekends.
already think it's already being spoken about, and it's just not not even the natural things we talk about. People don't
Yeah.
have access to this. They
Yeah.
don't.
No.
As much as I try to normalize it in my head, they don't have access to the information they
Yeah.
need.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's so
It's
true.
important.
And
All
just
these
like,
things are super important to talk about. I'm
yeah.
so glad we have this space to do that.
Yeah. I'm so glad that we kind of got back into it too, because I've had a lot of conversations like separately out of this that keep bringing me back to like this space. I believe people need this space because
Mm,
I've been talking to other moms that like
chills.
talk about very similar situations or like even just feeling alone and feeling like
Community, man. I was
community.
listening
And
to
it's
a
like,
podcast
oh
about
my
how to
God,
build
we got to
community.
do this. We got to
Yeah.
have you come
How to
on.
build
And like,
community because people need it.
yeah,
like like how we need shelter, how we need to procreate, we need whatever. We need community. We are social beings. Like we
yeah,
need one another. And there's too many people operating on their own, thinking they have to do life alone,
right,
Alone. Yeah.
harming
right. And it's
themselves, like
because
living
they're
these
like,
lives that we just yeah, community, dude. Like for
yeah,
me, community and putting out information that I believe people already have, like it just it like the work is so important, it has to be done. Like it
yeah,
Yeah.
just has to.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like you said, like people thinking that they have to do life alone. And it's because maybe in their immediate circle, they don't feel like they have any support. And a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
But
So many
it
people
doesn't
in
mean that you
Magic have
stop
talked about,
there.
I always felt like the oddball. I always felt like, and then they see this community of like, oh, I think this way. And then you're like, I'm not a freaking lunatic. So,
Yeah.
you know?
Right.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it is. It's very important. And I'm so glad that we're doing this.
I'm
And
so stoked.
yeah, it's
Like,
exciting
Put
to
this
keep
out there.
going. Yeah.
I'm so like once you guys texted me, I was like, yes, my pills are working. Let's
we
do
need it.
this.
Let's go.
My freeze dried liver is
My
working.
freeze, like literally, I sound like such a weird. I'm like, no, you guys, freeze dried liver.
No,
It's
you
the
know what though?
goods.
That's on my next order because my friend said that she wasn't taking all six of the first one that you said, but she said when she first took it, she was like, it was like she took a line of Coke or something. She had so much energy.
Oh God.
It's
She was,
people will be like, I'm on roids. Like I feel so good. I'm like, yeah,
I
it's
used to
What
take
did you
it
just
after me and Francis met. I
Can you
used to
hear
take
him?
it. Can
I
you
don't
hear
know.
me?
Yeah, go ahead.
now?
you-
Yeah, now we can.
I used to take it, and honestly, that was like when I felt the best in the gym. Like my testosterone was
yes,
like at its peak. And
literally.
it works different in your bodies, and your testosterone will be at your peak. But like for females, I would imagine it'd be the exact opposite of what I was feeling, but like good for females. You know, like your estrogen.
Yes.
You
You
took
know.
beef liver?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh yeah, I didn't
yeah.
know
Yeah,
that.
no, literally, it's like because and it
Cool.
seems like more masculine, like oh, buy the liver, and you're like, you know, we
Mm.
have all these things. We menstruate, we lose blood, like we need replenishment, we need, you know, like all these things. Like when we give birth, like we lost a lot. Like I don't know, it's just huge. Like,
Yeah,
ugh,
yeah.
I love it.
That's the next thing on my list for sure because I've been taking I've also just been getting over like a little cold, same with Harper. And with the oils and stuff, I've been taking um and I'm not doing any health claims because this is going to be going on YouTube. So but I've been taking oregano and On Guard in a capsule and
Okay,
it like it got
good,
yeah,
good,
like
good.
oregano, first off, the power of oregano is
I've
insane. I
heard.
Okay,
I've
that.
never
I
utilized it, but I've
oregano.
heard.
I
Yeah,
could back that for
yeah.
sure. Like, I stopped. The only reason I stopped taking oregano was because I was pregnant. But
Yeah.
I was taking the oregano and the Ukon capsules. I
Mhm.
was taking
Oh
that.
my
I
God.
swear, I did for the first time in my entire life. Not making any health claims. This is not my
We
experience.
just
Yeah.
Let me just put that out there.
Mhm.
But I used to get sick. And I don't know, I attribute this to like maybe being bottle fed and like formula fed. That was my own thing. I don't know. But um like I was always sick at like multiple times a year.
yeah.
And my mom actually she almost got kicked out of school because I was so sick. I almost got kicked out of my own district as a kid. Like I mean out of the school like,
Yeah.
whatever
From
because
being
I was sick all the
having
time.
to
But
go out.
anyways, so I started like, you know, on this health journey.
Were you
And
taking it daily? Oregano and
yeah,
Ukon? Yeah?
yep.
Okay.
Just like
I've
just
heard
as a
about
every
oregano. I
morning,
have not used it. Okay.
yeah, every morning popping it. And
Cool.
I didn't get sick for 2 straight years, not one time. And
That's
I
crazy.
was like, I was thinking
You're like-
it's
yeah.
gonna
You're
happen.
like, so
Like,
correlation doesn't equal causation, but
Yeah.
but I was like,
but
wow, like this is kind of a trip because I used to get sick at least 3 times a year.
that's so
And I
cool.
hadn't got sick, you know, I mean, it's a lot of contributing factors, of course, but
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
I don't
but I've
know
heard
that
oregano's the
oregano
good.
oil did
Yeah.
nothing. And the yeah,
Yeah.